more on this, we're joined by our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons, and he's in Odessa. Rob, first, what exactly do we know about this explosion at the military base in Crimea?
Well, not an awful lot of clarity, to be honest. The Ukrainians are being quite vague about what happened, some denying it, at least not taking full responsibility. Others suggesting that, rather tongue-in-cheek, that this may have been an accident, somebody throwing a cigarette away at the airbase, because that's the sort of thing the Russians have always been saying in the past when the Ukrainians have attacked their bases. Whatever the case, though, there's no doubt that this is embarrassing for the Russians. It shows that the Ukrainians can strike way, way behind the lines. But the big question will be, if it was indeed the Ukrainians, what sort of weapon were they using? It doesn't appear to be one of the HIMARS, one of those long-range American artillery systems, because, at least according to Washington, they haven't been giving them that sort of long-range missile that could get that far behind the lines. There is a possibility, however, that it could be a Ukrainian mission. But either way, there do seem to have been somewhere in the region of 10 explosions at this Fyodorivka airbase in Crimea, and it's worrying for the Russians. The Ukrainians are hitting bridges behind their lines, they're hitting ammunition dumps behind their lines, and now they're striking at airfields as well, so they'll be very concerned.
Well, so Rob, on a separate topic, we've been hearing that grain exports, they're flowing out of Ukraine again since the end of this Russian blockade. What's the situation at the moment there?
Well, the grain export does seem to be picking up. The agreement which was reached with Russia does seem to be working. 14 ships have now left Odessa and its surrounding ports, three in all. Some 70,000 tons of grain and soybeans shipped out today. The hope amongst the Ukrainians is that within a month or so they'll be sending somewhere in the region of 100 ships from the Odessa ports. But to put that in context, that means shipping out about 5 million tons of grain every month. Already at Odessa are accumulated about 20 million tons of grain. And with the new harvest, there will be another 25 million tons of grain. That's 45 million in all. So there is no way that Ukraine can export all the accumulated grain before the end of this year. It's obviously a step in the right direction, but it's nowhere near where either Ukraine wants to be, or for that matter, countries in Africa and elsewhere who are suffering from food shortages at the moment and in desperate need of the grain that Ukraine could otherwise have supplied.